Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, welcome. I'm Renee. I am a fiber artist. I spin, knit, crochet, dye yarn, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And I raise Angora rabbits. I've done that for almost 20 years now. And this summer we added Angora goats to our craziness here. So you'll be seeing some videos coming up with them soon in regards to sharing and stuff like that. So welcome. Today is Wednesday. I am actually filming multiple videos today because we have our daughter's family coming up this weekend and I want to spend some time with my grandkids. So I'm going to get this video done. This one will come up Friday. I'm doing another video this afternoon for next Monday. So we should be back on track with our 2 videos a week. Today I am out the back side of our property and I tried to beat the potato trucks out here, and I kind of did. They're way over on the other side of the field. So I am actually using my phone today so I can hook up my mic. So hopefully that helps with some of the noise and truck noise out here today. But I think I've come out early enough where they aren't going to be here for a while. So we are on the part of our property that we call Potato Hill. This is actually where I planted all of my potatoes this last spring in desperate measure to get them into the ground. This was the only area that I had left where I didn't have to plow or dig a plot or do any hard work because the potatoes were the last thing to go in. And so I just came out and planted them out here. They did great. I think I did an Instagram story on that. But today we're going to be talking about dyeing yarn. And this is going to be an outside and an inside video because we're actually going to go dye some yarn today. First off, I am going from this book. This is Natural Dyes on Wool with Timber Creek Farm. And this is a workbook. This is by Janet Garman. She's got some great books out there for any of you fiber people. I've got another 1 or 2 of her books about raising fiber animals. She does a great job. And this is a great book. Gives you the basis. And so we're actually out here by our pokeberries. We have a ton of them. And they all seem to be kind of out in this area mainly. And so we are going to bring some of these in, and then we're going to go through the book and do some dyeing. I'll probably mention this later because I'll forget, but we're going to do some Angora yarn. We're going to do some Pygora yarn and some Alpaca yarn. I think I have all 3 of ready to go. And so we're going to be using those 3 for our bases. But let's get started with this part so I can get the dyeing part going. Not all of these have changed, and I think you can kind of see that. A lot of these are green still. That's not what you want. Let me move you up just a touch so you can see. Hopefully I don't tip this over now because I put you on a hill. You can kind of see, yeah, that's going to be, this isn't a great tripod. So you can see some of it back here is still green, but inside here, and we don't need a lot. Inside here are a bunch of berries. So I have with me gloves. Any fiber artist's greatest tool is their gloves, although I don't always wear them. And then I have clippers and my infamous buckets that I talked about in a previous video. I'll try to remember to link it here. Like I said, I use these buckets for everything. So I am going to, and I was looking for my smaller one. I don't know what happened to it. We just have a really big one, but I'm not picking that much today. And actually, I'm kind of surprised how few of these have turned. I would have thought there would be more out here, but I see some pretty big ones. And we are shifting quickly in our weather. So it was chilly this morning when I woke up. It was in the 40s. So that's what it looks like. That's what you want. So I'm going to just clip some of these that I see. And Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for now. And I'm going to finish this off and then we'll move inside and we'll do some dyeing. Okay guys, technology is not my friend lately. This is going to be a little bit out of place on my video, but I'm just putting all my videos together and editing them, and I have a whole section of me talking about how to get the yarn set up to get dyed, and there is no voice on it whatsoever. I have no idea what happened, but it's not there. So instead of trying to do a voiceover where I'm talking but you can't hear me and I'm saying something else because I'm voicing over it, I'm just going to re-film this and try to go through what parts I was talking about. So the yarn is done. It's all finished. But prior to getting to the point of putting it in, which you're going to see in a minute, because that did work, that video did work, the process of getting the yarn prepped and ready and the pokeberries prepped and ready. So I think the part of the video is the pokeberry part. So what I did yesterday was I took about 2 quarts of water and the pokeberries, which are still sitting here, I have to take those outside, and a cup of vinegar. And I heated it for, she says, I think, and I was explaining the recipe in her book too. So I didn't remove anything. I just put everything that I cut, the stems and everything, I put it in here. And I did enough. This was just a small batch. I did enough just to do my 3 skeins of yarn. And I put in 1 cup of vinegar. Do not bring it to a boil. I think I mentioned this later in the video also. It will turn your pokeberry dye brown, so you always want to keep it under a boil at all times, whether you're doing your yarn part or the prep part. And you can take a potato masher and mash it down. I kind of just use the spoon to mush out all the coloring and stuff. I cooked it for 2 hours yesterday and then took it from the heat and let it set overnight. And then I think the rest of the video is there. Getting the yarn prepped was the thing that I did this morning. So basically that's all I was talking about, is getting the pokeberries ready. So pot of water, cup of vinegar, and put the stems and berries in, let it cook for 2 hours under a boil, and then take it off the heat and let it set overnight. So this should bring you up to date with the video, and we'll move on to the next part of it. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you this real quick. I'm going to throw it in the middle of the video. These have been in here about 2 hours, so I'm getting ready to shut it down. And I'm just kind of mushing the berries in. I'm going to let this sit overnight. Most of the berries are falling off the twigs, the branches, so it'll be just all berries. Then tomorrow I will strain it, and I'm gonna go ahead and crock pot dye this tomorrow, so I will strain it into the crock pot, and you'll see the rest of the video then. Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel. It is day 2 of dyeing with pokeberry. And this is going to be kind of a pieces and parts video because I showed you some of the stuff that I had done last night. But I'll put it all together today so it makes sense. So we did the pokeberry yesterday and it's still in its pot. It had to sit overnight. And well, actually it's back there. This morning I did the yarn in vinegar and alum, which I showed you yesterday. It was 1 cup of vinegar to 2 quarts of water, and it's just over a teaspoon. It's 5 grams, so it's like 1.024 teaspoons. So just over a teaspoon of alum, and that I put on the stove this morning for about an hour to cook in. and that's off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually do this in my crock pot today. In her book, she does bring it, again, we never want to boil this because it will turn brown is what happens to the pokeberry. She did it in just a pot. I'm going to do it all day in the crock pot just to see how that turns out. Essentially, she brings it to a close boil and reduces heat to simmer. So it won't boil in the crock pot, but it's going to be hot, and I'm just going to let it sit. She also has hers sit in the dye bath overnight. So this, I am actually going to finish out this video today with, once this sits in here for a couple hours, I'll finish filming this afternoon, show you what I have, and then maybe on Instagram, I'll just post a picture of the finished yarn. So yeah, let's do this. Can get this, and I probably should have an apron, and I probably should have my gloves on. Not that this is toxic in any stretch of the imagination, because it's all natural, but it really dyes things. I had to scrub my hands yesterday because I had some on. I've got it all over my book. So hopefully, I think you can see. You know what? Let me move you up just a little bit. And this is going to make plenty of, sorry about that. And actually, I'm wondering, now that I am doing this, I might not be able to do this in my crock pot with as much. You know what? I'm not. I'm shifting gears here in the middle of this. I have 3 skeins of yarn, and although this crock pot is a large one, it is not going to hold all this, and it's not going to hold all my dye bath. So let me shift gears here real quick. I'm going to take my yarn out of here, and actually, yeah, let me do this real quick. I'm going to put it, just to set it here. I love this big old stove because it has like a workspace next to the burners. So I'm going to dump this. This is what I had put my skeins in this morning. And I'm going to shift gears on the, this isn't going to work, but I think I can do this one-handed. Shift gears on the crock pot dye, and we're just going to go ahead and do it the way she said. And it's not that it won't work, but I don't have space in this crock pot, so this is all strained. And I'm going to turn it on and bring it just not to a boil, close to it. So I'm actually going to just put it on medium. This stove, these old-fashioned stoves, is either high, medium, or low. On this, there's no in between. So I'm going to put it on medium, and I shouldn't have to worry about, the yarn is hot, the water is cool, but as long as I'm not, felting can happen. I have videos with that in it too, where I have accidentally felted things. It shouldn't felt because I'm not going to agitate this at all. Felting takes heat and agitation both, and I am just setting this in here and going to push this around, and it should be just fine. I'm not going to do any more than that, and everything is covered. So, and again, I'm going to let this simmer here for a few hours. I think she says 2 hours. Bring it to a boil and reduce heat. Let it simmer for 2 hours, and then turn it off and let it sit overnight. So we have our pokeberry dye going. Let me just show you real quick. That's what it looks like. And those are all 3 skeins in there. They have plenty of space. And later on, I will check. The one thing I did forget, and I didn't mention it, check your ties on your yarn. When you skein up yarn, you usually tie it off 2 or 3 spots. I usually do 2, where both ends are when I'm dyeing. And if it's too tight, you're going to get an undyed space in there. So I'm going to check these later to make sure that everything's getting dyed. I'll kind of move those, but that's something I probably should have done before I popped it in there. So just a little note. So yeah, the other thing I should have done, because I'm trying to be better, the cool thing about this book too is she gives you a space to write stuff and to put stuff in. I should have taken, I should have clipped the original Angora, Pygora, and Alpaca yarn, just a little strand, taped it in my book to keep good notes, because I'm not good at that. I'm trying to get better at that with all my stuff so that I could repeat these processes. So that's the one thing I would recommend too, is maybe to start a dye journal. You would want to write down all this stuff, take a picture of, which I do have the picture of the original yarns, but I could have taken a little strip of the yarn off and taped it in here to show the before and after. I probably will do, I might have, like, I have more Angora that I could take a clip off from. This was kind of a light gray Angora that I had already done up. I didn't have any white left because I shipped that out last week. So this is a light gray, and then my Angora and Pygora are both like an off-white, and I have more of that, so I could use those. So that is one thing I would recommend. And then she just gives you a space for notes and what you did and what you added. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it all makes sense. I will put each of these clips together of each process that we did. And yeah, and then I will probably tomorrow morning post on my Instagram when I pull the yarn out. It won't be at the end of this video, but it will be on my Instagram. So with that being said, if you like this video, please click the like button, hit that subscribe if you don't already. I am amazed. I was looking at my my analytic thing on YouTube, and almost 70% of my watchers are not subscribers. So it would really mean a lot to me. If you guys don't already subscribe, please click that subscribe button. This is just part, I do enjoy teaching, and so this is a way I can do it to a wider audience, and it does take time to do this. So I would appreciate if you'd click that subscribe button. You can also follow me over on Instagram and Facebook. I am much more active on Instagram than I am Facebook. And some days I don't like either one of them. So it depends on the day. I do enjoy Instagram more though. So thanks so much for being here. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you're able to create something. Have a great day.